What's up? Where have you guys been? You've missed so much. The van's done, and you missed it. Well, actually, everybody missed it because I didn't film any of it. I have been absolutely slammed busy at work, and then gave myself such a tight timeline on getting this done before LS Fest. I honestly wasn't sure that I was going to get it done. I haven't even bought my ticket for LS Fest because I'm like, the van might not make it. But it's done. And I know I did one video of like the teardown and stuff, and then I kind of quit recording because I started panicking. I said, I gotta hammer down and get some stuff done. But everything went pretty smooth. It took me exactly 4 weeks. And I know this because the day I started on it, I went and got a haircut, and I just went today and got a haircut. And it's exactly 4 weeks between my haircuts. So this thing's ready to fire. I haven't fired it yet, so you're gonna be here for that. So let me walk you around everything that got done. Don't judge me. Some things were done in haste. It's not my cleanest install, but it should work. So let's take a look at this thing and let's fire it off, take it for a test drive, and see how it goes. We're gonna start underneath since it's already in the air. There's really not too much to look at under here. The trans was rebuilt by me, so it's probably gonna leak. Exhaust, H-pipe. Man, it's tight rolling around under here. And actually, so the van used to exit on this side, and now I basically mirrored an exit matching on both sides. So this side looks like nothing ever changed, other than I added a tailpipe over there. We got Borla XR1 bullet mufflers. I love these mufflers. They're my second favorite muffler, outside of a Thrush welded, but they sound really, really good on an LS. Fuel tank was dropped. Everything looked super nice in there. I was very, very pleased at how clean this is for being a 79. Had to take the return check ball off the sending unit. You have to do that if you're retrofitting to a carbureted vehicle. Most people don't, and then you have like 100 psi of fuel pressure, and you'll burn up your pump, and it's all bad. Ask me how I know. Fuel systems all ran down the rail. Yeah, it's just pretty sanitary under here. So let me lower this thing down, and we'll crawl inside the van, because you won't really be able to see anything from under the hood. As I was saying, under the hood, you really can't see anything. I mean, you could tell it's an LS, but you really can't see in there very well. So we come around to the side. Oh, there it is, right next to your legs. So, yeah, I'm not super thrilled with the wiring. Don't worry about this guy. This is for the screen. But on you know, something typical, this big wiring harness goes through the firewall, which would be like right here. But on a van, there is no firewall. Well, it is, but it's up there. And there's nowhere to put all this wiring. So it just kind of goes up into the dash. There's our terminator. Yep. Pretty simple stuff. Ran the wizard on it last night. Found out I had no crank signal, so I picked up a crank sensor for it this morning. Threw it in real quick. And now we're ready to do a test fire. Okay, so I already went through the wizard yesterday and uploaded a tune. Had no crank trigger yesterday, so that's now handled. This thing should be ready to fire off. I mean, it should just fire. Hopefully, let's find out. All right, fuel pump's priming. Everything looks good. I still have no crank signal. Why do I have no crank signal? Still have no crank signal. I wonder why. This is number 6, correct? Number 6, that's crank signal. Well, alright. Let me do some digging around and see why I'm not picking up any crank signal. Nice. That rules. So I've got updates. I've spent all weekend chasing this crank signal problem, and I've tested everything. Everything. Got 3 different sensors in it, all have the same problem. We've ohmed out wires. We've even swapped computers with another known good Terminator X computer, still had the same problem. So then my brain went to, it's a mechanical problem, and that's pretty disheartening. So today, when I was on lunch, I called Holly and talked to them for about an hour, and I told the guy, I said, I need 3 things to check because I can only work on this thing in the evenings, and if none of those 3 things work, I'm going to call you back tomorrow for 3 more things to check. So this might get a little bit confusing for a second, but just follow along and we'll reach a conclusion. So this is a Gen 4 LS. It's a 5.3. It's aluminum. It's LC9 motor. It was pretty common motor in 2008 to 14 trucks. It's VVT from the factory, and it has AFM. All of that has been deleted out of this. So this is no longer VVT and no longer has the AFM that shuts off cylinders randomly and destroys lifters. Everything was swapped out from the single bolt cam to a 3-bolt with the X4 reluctor ring on it. And all these parts should, in theory, work perfectly fine, with the Holly system that I got, the 550905. And it did all work in, testing and fitment and everything until I wasn't getting a crank signal. So I spent some time chasing a crank problem, and it wasn't until Patrick on the phone at Holly asked me about the LEDs on the dash of the actual ECM, and asked me what the cam LED was doing. And I said, oh, it just stays green. And then it clicked in my head, the cam sensor isn't reading. The crank sensor, because it's faulting, is working perfectly fine. But there's a correlation issue between the cam and the crank. Come home, first thing I do, the first thing on my list is to check the wiring, and everything pinned out fine, and to check the air gap. The air gap on the cam sensor is supposed to be 30 thousandths. I have more than 3/8 of an inch of gap. That's not going to work at all. It's never going to detect a tooth. So, the VVT timing cover has an extended snout on it for the big VVT gear. And every other non-VVT LS has a slim timing cover that puts the sensor right in the range of the reluctor ring. So I have that timing cover on order. It'll be here tomorrow. Hopefully that solves the problem. But in the meantime, I get to rip the entire front of the motor back apart because you have to pull the water pump and the harmonic balancer and I get to make a mess and leak coolant all over the shop. So that's going to be what I do tonight. And next time you see me, we're going to turn the key and this thing's going to start, I promise. If not, I'm lighting it on fire. I got some good news and I got some bad news. Good news is the timing cover was definitely the problem, and I changed that out and the van's running awesome. The bad news, we have a huge oil leak, and I'm pretty sure that it is rear main seal. And the bigger kick in the balls about all that is that we replaced the rear main seal when we did the little oil diverter barbell. So when we put it in, we used the GM tool specifically for rear main seals, and it looked like it was pushing the seal in a little crooked. But we just persevered through. And sure enough, it did damage the seal somehow that we didn't see. And yeah, it needs to be replaced. So that means that the transmission has to come back out again. Awesome. So I got a new seal on order. I have the tool here that damaged the last one, so you know, hopefully we can get this replacement rear main seal in without damaging it. Other than that, the van is running great. It goes through all the gears great, which is good because I rebuilt that transmission. I have no clue what I'm doing. So I'm happy that the transmission was still working properly and the van's running good. We just have one more hurdle to clear, and I have 1 week to finish it. Luckily, this is a long weekend coming up, so anything I don't get done here during the evenings, I'll be able to work on all weekend. So yeah, let's get the transmission pulled back out. All right, here we go. Maiden voyage. Stumble and idle there. There we go, right where we need to be. I've been test driving this thing, and I'll tell you what, I'm really, really, really happy with, you know, how everything's operating so far. I got no leaks. I got no weird noises, which is really, really good because, you know, I had a gang of problems that I ran into with this thing that were unforeseen, and I know that I cut this thing close. You know, and this video is kind of scattered, and I wish I would have recorded a little bit more, but I put myself so far behind the 8 ball that I wasn't even sure this thing was going to get done. And, you know, this isn't some made up drama. I have now 2 days to, you know, test drive this thing a little more. But I'm pretty confident. I've already done like 150 miles. And everything is going swimmingly. So yeah, so today I'm going to what am I going to do today? I think today I'm going to throw it back up on the lift, and I'm going to check all the other things you need to make a 700-mile road trip. You know, brakes, those are important. Wheel bearings, those are also important, and the rear axle, because that would be good if it has juice in it. I put a pinion seal in it once. I don't know if the slung around oil is previous to that or if it's leaking again. So we're gonna take a look at that too. So, and then my buddy's bringing the red square body over. We got to do a couple things to that to get it ready to go to LS Fest, because we're carpooling. Is it carpooling? Caravanning? I don't know. We're going together. We're rolling together. So. Yeah, again, I apologize that this video this build really wasn't recorded too much. I had some scattered around videos, but like I said, I was so rushed and so stressed out with this thing and stuff at work that I was like, I just need to work. Can't record everything. I just need to work. So next one, definitely, I know to leave myself more than, you know, 4 weeks of working on it in the evenings to get it done. So I'll do better. Thanks for watching. See you next time.